It's Saturday morning. It's time for Q&A. Yet again, and we're back after a week off, and I'm really sorry about that. And it is actually Saturday morning. Not only is it Saturday morning, it's teeming up with rain out there. The skies are grey. In fact, with shades on, it looks even worse. It looks like it's 4 o'clock in the morning. It's awful. It's like summer hasn't happened. Well, I don't think it has yet. If you're wondering what this is behind me, don't worry about it. I just need to cover all my amplification up at the moment. There is a reason. Don't ask why. Just don't, okay? Don't ask why I have to do it. But for a little while I have to. Going to start off this interesting little Q&A session with Steve Amos. It says, how many gigs have you done? Well, what have you life? Oh, it's hundreds. I wish I'd counted them up. I wish I'd sort of created a diary or something where I put these down, but it would have been in hundreds. I did my first one, gig as a young teenager, and here am I at the other end of the scale of life, and I'm still doing it. In fact, I've done 6 gigs in the last 4 weeks, so that's been quite tiring. That's why we missed last week, because I've just done all these gigs, and it's been, it has been tiring. Even the youngsters in the band have said, I'm a bit tired this morning. I probably didn't say it like that. Dave Wynn said, question, at the end of the gig, have you ever been tempted to smash everything up in a Peter Townsend style? Well, there's another question. We actually talked about this. The guitarist was saying that he might buy a Harley Benton guitar just to smash it up, because he has this beautiful Gibson Les Paul Sunburst. I mean, it's beautiful guitar. And he was thinking of the last gig of the next tour that's going to be done, to have a Harley Benton one, which is absolutely identical, really, isn't it? Play Freebird on that, and the end. And it was going to cost 150 quid. Could be worth it, couldn't it, for a laugh? I might even buy myself a cheap Harley Benton for the same and do the same thing. Yeah, I mean, Dave, we have thought about it. It would be a laugh, wouldn't it? Especially for some, for a pub band to do it, and especially if you can get guitars that look the same as what you've been playing all evening. The only problem is, of course, Freebird might sound shit because they're crappy guitars, but they're not. They're not. I quite like Harley Benton. I've got a lot of Harley Benton stuff. Okay, Cheddar King Pal, or Kung Pal, because I always get it wrong. I was talking about Dave Woodward, a friend who died very, very recently, and he said this guy who went out and did something with his life, which, he was everything from, I can't tell you what he was. He was, he had more life than most people ever could ever want. Terrific guy. Anyway, question for next week, which is this week now. Have you ever gigged stone cold sober? I don't think I don't drink, so I do every time. There you go. And usually envy the guys who can have one to take the edge off. Now, that's a great question. I do usually like a beer before and during and after such events. However, just recently, I've been driving to all the gigs and driving home, so having a beer is completely out of the question. So this whole last tour, I've done completely beerless, nothing till I got home. I can tell you, I've had a beer when I got indoors, opened the fridge and straight down in one. And yes, so unfortunately, I've done everyone sober recently. But hey, it's okay. It's not really a worry. I do think it relaxes you a bit, but having a beer during it. But luckily, no longer do I suffer from such things as stage fright, which I used to get when I was younger. I know a lot of people, even though they've been doing it years, still suffer from such things. And I feel, we're all different. I'm okay doing it. Right, we got next one. I think I've answered that. Was that good? Was that all right for you? Anyway, Paul's Country. He said, what's your favourite seafood? Favourite seafood, English fish and chips, which is cod in batter, fried up with a bag of chips. In fact, the last one I had to say to the I had to say to the chef, the waiter, I said, hey, come here. Is this fish still alive? And he said, why? I said, well, it appears to have eaten most of the chips. Anyway, it's fish and chips, yeah. What was the best eating fish you've caught, and where did you catch it? The best eating fish I caught was just off Western Australia, a place called Margaret River, on the beach there, fishing from the beach, pulled out a fish and barbecued it on the beach. I can't get better than that, can you? And that was lovely. That was great. Evil White Clown Punk said, usually it was going to be freezing. No, that was at the gig at the fort where there was no heating, and Judy said it was going to be freezing. It was. He said there were no logs on the fire. Nobody's wearing coats, not even long sleeves. How does that work? Well, that's a weird one. But I'll tell you what happened was, it was the residual heat from last summer still in that room, right? So inside it was those walls, 1,000 years old. How many summers have they seen? Oh, about 1,000 of them, wasn't it? And they are so thick, where the old Normans and stuff used to get their bows and arrows, protecting Queen and country from the invading hordes. And that's why it was still warm. No, I don't know. In the second set, I did actually have a jumper on. Because I'm old and I feel the cold. It was okay, but when we went outside to load the van up, damn, that was cold. That was serious. I mean, what? Cheapers, that was cold. Anyway, so that's how it worked. Evil, it's quite good. And he's also asked, did you ask the band about doing Surfing Bird? Surfing Bird is the word up song. Wording Bird is a. Yes. I tell you what. Yeah, we're going to look at that. In fact, I might even try and do a version of that on my own during the course of this week. Eric said, Eric C. Well, he's a nice guy. I think it's the first time Eric has ever asked me a question. And Eric's one of these guys who's incredibly talented when it comes to renovating guitars and stuff. And I've watched his videos, and they're very sort of, he's got some patience, that boy. Very nice man, and yeah, thanks Eric for your question. And Eric sees his channel. You can find it. It's easy enough. He's on my friends list. I watched the video before. I have a question for your Q&A. Do you ever guys feel different or special when playing in a place with a lot of history? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. Juno. We played in this fort, which is, like, as I say, a building is 1,000 years old. And it feels just so special to be part of this. And the guy even built this great stage for us. And it was, I don't know, weird when you consider years ago what was going on in that very place. All these soldiers were garrisoned there over many, many years. And the fighting and stuff which was taking place, the history, if those walls could talk. Oh, man, yeah, that was fantastic. A lot of the bars we play at, again, are quite old. And but, yeah, I mean, if you do get the chance to play in such a place, and I'm sure it will be the same for you if you get to play in something equally as old, although I think where you come from, there's probably not that much that old. But, yeah, it's history is everything. I love history. Another one for Paul, for Paul's Country, 52. If you want to know about guns, look at Paul's Country. I've not fired a gun many times in my life. A few times, I suppose. Have you ever seen anything supernatural even when drunk? Supernatural when drunk? Oh, yeah. Usually the cops behind me or something. Do you know the other thing? I bought something on Amazon the other day, and it all goes into your shopping cart, doesn't it? When you're buying something, and I suppose it's a real Americanism, shopping cart. In England, they're known as a trolley, a shopping trolley, and you have a little disc. I don't know what you call those in America or in England. A little disc to put in, or where you usually put €1 or £1 or $1 in to take your shopping cart round the supermarket. Here in England, here in France, sorry, I think they've got a great thing. They call it a chariot. Your shopping chariot. I got my chariot. And the little disc that you put in is called a jeton. I have le jeton for my chariot. How wonderful the French language is. Anyway, good Lord, that's gone on for 10 minutes. I've wasted 10 minutes of your life. Until next week, my friends, leave me a question underneath for next week. Thank you very much. If I've missed a question, I'm really sorry. I don't think I have. I should just say Rick Romanelli, just in case I've missed one of his, and I'm sure I haven't, because I have done in the past. And till next week. Hands up!